Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie, Never Grow Old. Don't judge a book by its title. This is a Western starring John Cusack and Emile Hirsch. If I'm saying that right, Emile Hirsch. You know him from a lot of different things. Somebody plays an Irish undertaker that profits when an outlaw comes to town, but then his family gets in a little bit of danger as the death toll rises in this town. This frontier town. I don't know. That's all I know. IMDb gave it that little synopsis, so I don't know much about 5.6 on IMDb with 289 reviews. So not many reviews. So we'll give it another one here and let you know what I think about it. Actually, I'll watch it for a little bit, tell you a little bit better idea what the synopsis is about, and then I'll tell you what I think. So stick around. I'll be back. Hey everybody, let's do a quick check-in here. We're watching Never Grow Old, and we're at the 44-minute, 8-second mark. And I probably have a better idea of what's really going on in this movie. So first of all, when I saw it and I read it, I thought to myself, okay, there's an Irish caretaker who lives in a small town, and then some sort of outlaw that comes in. And Emile Hirsch and John Cusack are in this movie. For some reason, I put Emile Hirsch as the outlaw, John Cusack as the Irish undertaker. I was wrong. I'm wondering if everybody else thought the same thing. You know, I just immediately thought of those two in those two different roles. It's reverse. So Emile Hirsch is the Irish undertaker living in this small town where the minister, I would think, is the head of the church is actually running the town, and he has eliminated all prostitution, gambling, and alcohol in the town and made it a completely Christian town, which has impacted some of the business and things like that when he did that. But you know, that's the whole story right there for that town. And Emile Hirsch, he's married, pregnant wife, 2 kids, living a simple life. Undertaker, maybe a little bit of carpentry on the side. Enter John Cusack, who is the outlaw. He is looking for somebody that robbed from him and is trying to, you know, he's trying to take revenge on him, or there's a reward for that person. He's trying to find him. He brings him to this town. He bumps into Emile Hirsch to help him. Hey, show me where this guy used to live. And then he goes there, and so they, you know, because of that, they start talking. Finds out he's an undertaker, and you know, so that's how they get connected. And John Cusack's character then also, you know, goes to find an old bar that wasn't open, but they still have liquor in it, so they start serving him, and he comes up with the idea of, like, look, I'm going to buy this bar, we're going to reopen it up, bring in gambling and prostitution again in this town, and he's going to become friends with Emile Hirsch because he's going to kill a lot of people, and he's going to need him to bury them all. And that's really what's going on. So he's trying to take over the town in a sense, and but really, I mean, I shouldn't say that. He's really just trying to run his business, which is a saloon, and you know, as things pop up, people die, and then he goes to Emile Hirsch and asks him to bury him. So then, and Emile Hirsch is starting to see this, and you can kind of tell it's kind of impacting, you know, his morals, to say. So that's really what's going on, and we'll see where it goes from here. But so far so good. I do like these 2 actors. That's kind of why I watch this movie. And I shouldn't say I always like them. Sometimes you could take them or leave both of them, to be honest with you. And there's certain movies, I mean, not so much the acting, but the characters that they play. For Emile Hirsch, for instance, in some movies I like him. In some movies I don't like his character. So I guess that means he's probably a good actor, if he can do that to me. Like, I didn't like his character in Alpha Dog. Loved the movie, loved Justin Timberlake in that movie, but I didn't like his character in that movie. In this movie, I kind of like him. You know, kind of humble Irish undertaker. I like him. John Cusack, too. You can take him or leave him. I can't think of anything. Better Off Dead. Loved him in Better Off Dead, if you haven't seen that. In this one, he's not rubbing me the wrong way. I'm trying to think of a movie where he does that, but I'll think about that a little bit more. But there are some films where he's in it, and it's like, you know, the character that they made him play, I didn't like so much. But in this one, so far, so good, because it's usually when he does play a villain that I don't like him. because I think sometimes it's a stretch, but in this case it's not. It works for him the way he's playing this character. So, and it's a Western, so that's not for everybody, but so far I'm enjoying it, and I'll get back into it and I'll tell you a little bit more about it at the end of the film and give you my final thoughts. So stick around. Hey everybody, we're at the credits of, what was it? Never Grow Old, sorry. You know, there's not much left to tell, I don't think, without trying to spoil it for you, as you can imagine, as they bring in the, you know, as they open the saloon, and Emile Hirsch's character gets a little bit more connected with John Cusack's character. You can see his personality and character change, and, you know, being led astray of what his moral life was before they had joined. So you could see that coming, and then it's interesting because you could see it coming without it being obvious in a sense. You know, I noticed it right away, and I didn't think it was over the top. It was very subtle in the way that they started to show him starting to shift now, and I think you know, the moral of it, the story was greed. It comes down to greed, I think, in a sense, because he starts to see how much money he can make by this guy running his saloon, and he's benefiting from it and being his friend. Now, you know, how far do you take greed above and beyond your family and, you know, everything that you've been morally attached to throughout your entire life, all that kind of stuff. So that's really the crossroads of this movie. And, you know, the question is, does he continue down this path, or does he wake up and start to correct what the path that he's been going down, and then, you know, what is the outcome of all that? So, you know, if he does decide to go in a different direction, what does the outlaw do? You know what I mean? As you can imagine, with the family, he, you know, has some power, like impacting his family, not just him. But overall, typical type Western movie. I think I like the way that they kind of set it up, and the way the outlaw came into town and you know, started the saloon and made, you know, that's the way you know, they started to make crime and you know, breaking the law and things like that. So and how they can get away with murder per se in this town, whereas somebody else who doesn't cover their tracks as well as an outlaw could be held more liable than somebody who's killing multiple people. And you know, so that comes out in this movie without going into too much detail. I do think it's worth watching if you like these actors, or if you like Westerns. It's worth watching. If you're not interested in Westerns at all, you don't want to watch this. But don't expect too much from it. I think it's worth watching just for the acting and the way that they kind of set it up. Everything else is kind of like cookie cutter. You know where it's going to go. There's some small things that you might be like, oh, okay, that's what they did there. But when you see these films, you know there's only a couple of different outcomes, and you can think of them all as the film goes on. And that's not what this really is about. It's about watching them change and transpose into different people throughout the film, and weigh money and greed versus moral and family. And that's it. Sorry. But if you do check it out, let me know. Let me know what you thought of the film. Let's see if we align with our thinking here. Subscribe to my channel and continue to tune in to Kimmel's Irish Pub.